Welcome, I am Dr. Shweta. This is a series of multiple choice question, जनरल साइंस फिजिक्स। ये सीरीज हमने कम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम के लिए स्टार्ट किया था, जिसमें अब हम पीजीटी भी इंक्लूड कर रहे हैं। तो पीजीटी से रिलेटेड भी क्वेश्चंस हम इसमें ऐड कर देंगे। अब धीरे धीरे जो भी आगे क्वेश्चंस आएंगे, डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में एक क्विज होती है, आप उसको प्रैक्टिस के लिए सॉल्व करते रहिए। जितना ज़्यादा प्रैक्टिस करेंगे उतने ही ज़्यादा चांसेस हो जाते हैं कम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम को क्लियर करने के लिए। सो लेट्स स्टार्ट क्विज। So first question is, electric generator is based on which of the following scientific principle? Faraday law of electromagnetic induction, superconductivity, law of thermodynamics, Newton's law of motion. An electric generator works on the principle of Faraday law of electromagnetic induction. An electric generator uses mechanical energy to generate electricity applying Faraday law of electromagnetic induction. It spins a coil at constant rate in magnetic field to induce an oscillating EMF. So option A is the correct option, Faraday law of electromagnetic induction. Next question is, direct current produces magnetic field similar to permanent magnet. This magnetic field is unidirectional and has steady magnitude. Is unidirectional but in magnitude varies in regular pattern. Has steady magnitude but changes direction in regular pattern. Changes direction and magnitude in regular pattern. A coil or conductor carrying direct current produces a magnetic field similar to permanent magnet. The current carried by this conductor is unidirectional and steady. That is, it does not change direction or vary in magnitude with respect to time. Hence, effect is that a permanent magnet which is simply attract object near the coil. However, in the case of alternating current, the magnetic field changes direction. That is, it become negative for second half of the frequency cycle, 50 cycle per second in India. Further, in magnitude varies sinudal curve having sine waveform, thereby becoming zero at the end of the cycle. So in this option, first is correct option is unidirectional and a steady magnitude. Constant होता है magnitude because it is DC. DC के अंदर हम करंट कांस्टेंट रहता है हमारा, तो मैग्नेटिक फील्ड जो प्रोड्यूस होगा वो भी स्टडी होगा और यूनिडायरेक्शनल होगा क्योंकि साइकिल हमारी चेंज नहीं हो रही, कांस्टेंट रहता है. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज, which of the following comparison of different type of light is are correct? Ultraviolet light has higher energy and shorter wavelength than visible. Orange light has lower frequency and longer wavelength than blue light. Select the correct option from the codes given below. Only one, only two, both one and two, neither one nor two. So option C is the correct option, both one and two. Gamma ray and X-ray are very high energy, short wavelength radiation. Ultraviolet light has higher energy and shorter wavelength than visible light. Within the visible spectrum, the color are in the order of increasing frequency. R, O, Y, G, B, V, or in reverse order this. Red has higher wavelength and lower frequency. This is the increasing order of frequency. This is the increasing order of wavelength. अगर हम इस डायरेक्शन में जाते हैं तो इंक्रीजिंग ऑर्डर ऑफ वेवलेंथ है, इस डायरेक्शन में जाते हैं तो इंक्रीजिंग ऑर्डर ऑफ फ्रीक्वेंसी है. सो ऑरेंज लाइट हैज लोअर फ्रीक्वेंसी and longer wavelength than blue light. So both option 1 and 2 are correct option. Next. Next question is, consider the following physical quantities: entropy, work, momentum, force. Which of the above are vector quantities? 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 3 and 4, 1 and 4. So quantity which depend on direction is called vector quantity. A quantity which does not depend on direction is called scalar quantity. Here entropy and work both are a scalar quantity, and momentum and force both are vector quantity. So option C is the correct option. Momentum and force both are vector quantities. Next question is, consider the following differences between white gold and yellow gold. While white gold has more nickel, yellow gold has contained more zinc. White gold are more durable than yellow gold. Which of the above statement is correct? Only one, only two, both one and two, neither one nor two. The main difference between white, yellow, even rose gold is simply that metal mixtures that used to make them. Some of most common metal used to mix with gold are copper, silver, nickel, vanadium and zinc. First statement is incorrect because white gold has more nickel and zinc, while yellow gold contains more copper. White gold has rhodium coating, whereas yellow gold does not have the same. The rhodium coating makes the white gold cluster and more durable than yellow gold. White gold is a alloy of gold, at least white metal, nickel, manganese or vanadium. So only option 2 is the correct option. White gold are more durable than yellow gold. Next, next question is, snow looks white but water looks generally colorless. What could be the possible explanation to this? Snow crystal reflects the light. Snow absorbs all colors except white. Next is, snow reflects white wavelength of light. Snow changes the direction of light. To understand where the whiteness comes from, we need to back up and look why different things have different colors in first place. Visible light is made up of many different frequency of light. Our eye detect the different frequency of different colors. Uh, Different objects have different colors because the particular particles, atoms or molecules that makes up of object have different vibrations frequency. Basically, the electrons of the particle will vibrate a certain amount of response to energy depending on the frequency of energy. In the case of light energy, the molecule and atom absorb a certain amount of light energy depending on the frequency of light. Then emits the absorbed energy as a heat. This means the object absorbs certain frequency of light more than other. Couple of different things happen of light frequency then that are not absorbed. In some material, when particles re-emit the photons, they continue to pass through a next particle. In this case, light travel as the way through the metal, so the metal is clear. In most solid metals, particle re-emit and most of unabsorbed photons out of the material. So no light or very little light pass through the an object is obscure. The color of an obscure object is just a combination of light energy that object particle did not absorb. So since snow is frozen water, and we all know the frozen water is clear, why does snow have distinctive colors? To understand this, we need to back up and look the individual piece of ice. Ice is not transparent. It's not transparent and it actually translucent. This means that light photon does not pass right through the matter in direct path. The material particle changes the light direction. This happens because the distance between some atoms in the ice molecule structure are close to height of the light wavelength, which means that light photon will interact with that structure. This result that light photon's path is altered and it exists from ice in different direction. Then it enters the ice. Snow is a whole bunch of individual ice crystals arranged together. When light photon enters a layer of snow, it goes through the ice crystal on the top, which changes its direction slightly and send it to a new ice crystal, which does not same thing. Basically all crystal bounce the light are all around, so it comes right back out of the snow piles. It does the same thing to all, bounce back to out of the colors of all frequency in visible spectrum combined equal measure is white. So this is the color we see in snow, while it is not the color we see in the individual ice crystal from the snow. So snow changes the direction of light. So D option is the correct option. Explanation थोड़ी लंबी है हो गई है, but this is a correct explanation for this. The force that binds the neutron and proton in nucleus is called weak nuclear forces, strong nuclear forces, electromagnetic forces, gravitational forces. Strong nuclear forces is a force that binds the neutron and proton together in the nucleus. Nuclear forces are strongest force in the nature, and that is 10 to power 38 times stronger than gravitational forces. Nuclear forces have the shortest range and operate within the nucleus only. So option B is the correct option, strong nuclear forces. Next question is, which is the range of strong nuclear forces? Infinite, very short subnuclear size, very short nuclear size, none. As I told before this question, a very short nuclear size. Option C is the correct option. The range of strong nuclear forces is very short nuclear size, approximately 10 to power minus 15 meter. The strong nuclear forces operate among nucleons and heavier elementary particles. Its strength compared to gravitational forces 10 to power 38. Next question is, which of the following is correct about the property of gravitational force? They are stronger force in nature. They observe inverse square law. Both A and B, none. So option B is the correct option. They observe inverse square law. Gravitational force are weakest force in the nature. They obey inverse square law as they inversely as the square of the distance between two bodies. They are central forces, conservative forces. They operate over very long distance, having infinite range. So option B is the correct option. Next question is, a proton and electron are located in uniform electric field. The ratio of their acceleration will be 0, unity, ratio of masses of proton and electron, ratio of masses of electron and proton. So option C is a correct option, ratio of masses of proton and electron. Electron and proton both are charged particle, opposite charges. When placed in electric field, uniform electric field, they move according to their charges and they accelerate, and their acceleration ratio is the ratio of masses of proton and neutron. Next question is, which among the following is credited for Corpuscle theory of light? Newton, Huygens, Albert Einstein, James Clerk, Newton. Option A is the correct option, that is Newton. This question already we discussed in previous series also. Corpuscle theory of light was given by Isaac Newton. It was replaced by Huygens wave theory when it failed to adequately explain the diffraction, interference and polarization of light. The Huygens wave theory was replaced by Planck quantum theory, and finally de Broglie dual nature of light replaced all previous one. So next, what is the dimension formula of work done? M1 L1 T minus 2, M1 L2 T minus 1, M1 L minus 1 T minus 2, M1 L2 T minus 2. The dimension formula of work done is M1 L2 T minus 2. The work is said to be done by force when the body is displaced by force through some distance. We are applying by a force and it displaces some distance. The SI unit of work is joule, and the dimension of force is ml t minus 2. So option D is a correct option for work done. I can also write work done equal to F dot ds. F is dp over dt, or P equal to mb dt ds, m dv over dt ds. dv over dt means das upon dt. So this comes out m l t minus 2 into L. This is the dimension of work. So next question is, the work done in moving body over a smooth inclined plane does not depend on which of the following. Does not depend: mass of the body, height of inclined plane, slope of inclined plane, all of the above. The work done in moving body over a smooth inclined plane does not depend on the slope of inclined plane. W equal to mgh in the case of a smooth inclined plane, where m is the mass of the body, g is the acceleration of due to gravity, and h is the height. So option C. The work done in moving body over a smooth inclined plane does not depend on the slope of the inclined plane. Is that Next question is, what will be the change in force of attraction between two bodies if the distance between them is double? No change. Become double, become 4 times, become 9 times. If the distance between masses is double, then gravitational force of attraction Fg equal to G m1 m2 upon r square. This is inverse square law. As r changes, then the force changes square of times. So become 4 times. So option C is a correct option. Next question is, which of the following represent the condition for flotation? Fp equal to mg, Fp plus mg equal to 0, Fp upon mg equal to 1, Fp equal to mgh. As per Archimedes' principle, an object will float if the percussive force exerted on it by fluid balances its weight, Fp equal to mg. If buoyant force equal to object weight, the object will remain suspended at that depth. If buoyant force is greater than object weight, the force will rise to surface and float. If buoyant force is less than object weight, the object will sink, and buoyant force is always present whether object floats, sink or suspended in the fluid. Fp equal to mg is this case correct option. So आज का लेक्चर हम एंड करते हैं और नेक्स्ट वीडियो में हम मिलेंगे जनरल साइंस के एमसीक्यूज के साथ. Thank you.